What is going on, crypto enthusiasts? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying some of these moves, especially if you were long from yesterday. Some of the shorts are not playing out, but that's okay. It doesn't necessarily change the bias or the thesis that we're going to be working on. I'm going to be sharing with you guys some ETH setups. We're going to be reviewing some BTC setups, and coupled with that, we're also going to be looking at USDT, what's going on there. Something a little fishy going on with USDT in comparison to ETH right now. So that being said, let's dive right into the charts. Let me just give you a brief overview as far as what I'm looking at. I'm going to start off here on the 4 hour. This is what I typically like to work with when I'm starting to chart. And I'm going to keep it pretty simple for us. We can see where this dotted line is right over here. We're actually tapping into what was previous support, a good support level for us right over here. We can see that we're trying to flip that zone. Now, if price action cannot flip this zone, then that opens the door for the bullish retest inside of this area. So as of right now, these are considered bearish retests, retesting a previous support level inside this zone and flipping it into resistance. We never had a really clean retest of that level. We can see that we broke through it. There was a test right here in this area, broke down. So it was a point of rejection, but we haven't really come back and retested that area. And that's kind of where we're at right now. I've positioned myself with hedges for both sides, still long from the lower levels. Actually down from like the 1600. So the longs are profitable right now, but I have taken some profits off of those. We did have some shorts yesterday ranging from 1825 as far as add backs, and the original position that was at 1839. We did take some TPs when we were breaking above yesterday's New York high. We actually broke above that during Asia yesterday. So it was a TP point for us to say, okay, well, we need to start getting out of this short, or at least de-risking it, and then look for our add backs. We had add backs at 1825 all the way up to 1865 inside that area. So some of the shorts right now, for those that were following yesterday, maybe sitting underwater, you may want to cut that position. That's totally up to you. My bias and my thesis is saying I believe that there's still going to be a bullish retest inside the month of July, and we have plenty of time before that can develop. So in short, this is going to be the area that I'm looking at that we need to maintain from a bearish perspective, saying we have to maintain this zone. Is it possible that we can stretch up higher with a wick and then come right back down? Yeah, it's very possible for that to occur. Now, I do have some crazier charts, for lack of better terminology, over here that kind of open the door for what we're potentially looking at. Let me clear some of this space over here. Let's clear some of this. We don't need this. And we don't need this. And I don't need this. So I've reached past a fair value gap inside this area. This short at this current area becomes invalid. Remember, we're at this resistance area right over here. For me, the invalidation is if we start to flip this fair value gap, if we have an inverse fair value gap. And what that means is essentially price fills an imbalance, there's a gap that's there, and then price starts to find support on the top of that gap. There's 2 hours and 13 minutes left in this current candle on this current session. So that's something that I'm observing here. If we do bounce and hold that area, then our next potential target is going to be the higher fair value gap that sits right around 1980. I'll take you through the higher time frames, take you through a macro view. We'll go through a 2-day and a 2-week and a weekly, so we can look at some additional levels. But for all intents and purposes inside the stream, just giving you two guys short, sweet, and quick here in the first couple minutes of the stream. These are going to be the key levels that I'm looking at for the time being. Now, ultimately, as I mentioned before, these are going to be the levels. We can actually get rid of this for right now. We'll start mapping that out when that occurs. That was from a class. We're still looking for these levels over here, where there's a fair value gap over here, down into these levels. This vertical run up did not play out the way that we wanted it to. So let's adjust it. Let's make adjustments. Now it went to the 0.32. If I measure it that way, there's the 0.5, and then here's our 618 that sits over here. Okay. You can see that we do have a shaved bottom that sits on the 4-hour with the sell side liquidity that sits in the same zone. So that's 1715.90. That's going to be an area that I'm going to be observing, where I would want to see a balance filled in that area. I think we'll run into trendline liquidity at some point with this trend line. I think we'll run into some trendline liquidity inside that zone. Somebody might be viewing this and saying, okay, we're inside of a flag saying like this thing's going to boom. I don't disagree with you. Like, I wouldn't say that you're wrong. I would only simply say that time will tell. That's the only way that we can make that assessment. If we're truly inside of a flag, and if we see a massive extension to the upside for ETH, then that was a flag, that was your continuation pattern. The bat pattern that we've designed from several weeks ago, strong. So this is where my longs were from, and then there were some add backs on the wave 2s inside of these areas, and then there were some additional add backs once we got breached over the wave B area. So there's a couple different ads inside those zones. There were some shorts that we were taking inside the zones, as I was explaining to you just momentarily. Around 1830, we had a drop. Then there's another short that came from the zone right over here, and then TPing around like 1755. Actually, mentira, 1775 inside that area, because this was yesterday's New York high inside of this area. So let's look at our range real quick. Let's go ahead and make sure that we have that mapped. It's 945, so that range pretty much just finished. Let's declutter this a little bit for us, and I'll check in with the chat with you guys here in a brief moment. Where are we? All right, where's my 930? Are you my 930? You're my 930. We're gonna paint you orange. And here's the bottom of it. Very, very, very small range. So, you know, when I'm trading these, when I'm trading the sessions, and I have a very thin range session, it makes me think, I'm like, well, how did this range come about? We pumped into pre-market. And maybe, you know, call it an old habit of mine, but for me, my thought process is the first move is always the lie. It's always where the lie is at, right? So the month of July basically opened up and pumped. Today's session opened up as far as pre-market and pumped. If we start to see a massive correction, or that's loosely put, if we start to see a correction, a healthy correction today to the downside, right? Signs of weakness, and we start breaking down, then that tells me that this move to the upside was manipulation. Very, very similar to what we've been seeing over the weekends. I'll check volume here. Actually, let's check volume right now. Massive one to the upside on that move. So that move was authentic, but we went higher and volume started getting lower. Signs of weakness right over here. with some bearish dominance that's starting to develop here in that zone. These were authentic. This move wasn't authentic. 915 was still pre-market. So all this move was before market open, and then when market started open, now we can see that algos are starting to step in. I have some wave counts. Look at our total pattern played out. This is the one that we mapped out from yesterday. The total pattern actually played out. Let's get rid of this. We no longer need that. And you're gonna watch me remap some things. I need to make some adjustments. Some of you guys might be privy to this. We did have a L8 wave class inside of our VAP today. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed it, for one. I'm pretty sure you guys did. We had some good questions that were in there and some good clarification. But you'll see me do some things in here in real time. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. Let's just clean up our charts. Now, as you guys know, you guys feel free to always ask me questions. What's up, Kimberly? Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Making breakfast? That's what's up. That's what's up. Save us a plate. What's up, Sniper? Salute to you, brother. Thank you for being there this morning. What's up, Space Potter? Good morning, good morning. I hope you're well, brother. All right. So one thing I want to look at, I did have a total pattern that started to develop. I'm going to clear some of this stuff. Where do you hail from? You're my bearish count. I'll come back to you. And where do you hail from? You're invalidated. You actually didn't give me, oh, the pattern was fine, but the other count wasn't correct. You're my VRU, so I will leave you there. All right, sequential count, I'm on a 4 with a 13 printing. Okay, that's fine. I can come back to that later. And I want to see if I can find a bearish pattern out of this. Let's just get rid of this for now. That actually already performed, so we're good. Let's go ahead and hide you. All right. This wave count already performed, so I actually don't need you anymore either. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. A. B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, okay. Okay, I want to review USDT. I mean, USDT's been holding on to these areas for a while. Since June. So basically a month it's been holding this upward trend line. Here's what's odd about that, in my opinion. You know, we're typically USDT and ETH, they move in contrast with one another. So if USDT is dumping, then ETH is going to start pumping. And, you know, they kind of mirror each other in the sense of charts, but just an opposite view of that. Well, what I mean by that is, like, if we look at ETH's chart, ETH obviously pumped and swept some highs that are out there. And from a stablecoin perspective, it doesn't necessarily show that they've rotated out of out of stable coins. They're just maintaining that same trend line they had for the last for the last month, excuse me. So the way that I view that as a form of divergence. You can couple that and, you know, go into and put your tinfoil hat on and think of it as a conspiracy theory. But I'm just giving you the technical formality as far as how I view that. So it's a little suspicious. It's a little suspicious. All right, give me a quick second. I need some water. Sorry about that, guys. I know it took a little bit longer. I'm back, though. I'm back. What's up, Omar? Good morning, brother. What's up, Scissors? Big dog. So while ETH is, you know, stretching and making this expansion inside of it, there's one thing to consider. I really want to see if it does this. If it gets back inside of this area. Right, because then we're going to be compressed inside this area. You know, the title and the thumbnail for the stream is going to be range bound. You know, that's kind of what I was showing you. I think I was showing you guys, but maybe I was showing inside of our class this morning, but I'll reiterate it. You know, wow, it's an ugly drawing. Let's try that again, Saint. Right, because we're meeting a resistance, and then we have all this area right over here. So bearish retest levels right over here, and then bullish retest levels right inside here. Forgive my ugly drawings, guys. I need to go back to art school. So if I'm looking at that from that perspective and I'm inside of these bearish retest levels for the time being, what I really want to do, look at, if I'm zooming in and I'm really trying to drill down on this, I want to see that price can get back underneath here. And we'll actually make an adjustment to this as well too, because the best way to do this is going to go from wick to body. Let's expand that up a little bit. Oh wow. Yeah, let's go wick to body. And I feel like we would compress inside that zone. So what I want to look for here now, this is New York sesh. If you can spell today's saint, that'd be fantastic. Oh my gosh. I'm struggling, the struggle bus here. There we go. Holy cow. So viewing that as contracting triangle, where did I put that ABC? I put you in there. I don't know why it does that automatically, but let's pull that out of there. I'll put that right in the middle of that. Okay. So New York sesh. Holding on to that. Let's look at temperature real quick. When's the last time we were running this red hot? The last time was back in June. In June, let's go higher. Let's see if we have any similarities. And then sideways movement. Where do you come from? You're inside there. I don't need you right now. Warm. Hot. Right down. Okay. So my cooldowns, this was my only cooldown. That was kind of dismal, to be honest with you. 1724. All right, let's go over to weekly real quick. Still in 2 weeks, still inside of a bullish setup phase. Let's open that up a little bit, and let's go to weekly, see if we can make some adjustments on that. Okay, yeah, that's what that looks like. Okay. 5 days left inside of this, so let's go 4 back. 1, 2, 3, 4. What happens next week? 1, 2, 3, 4. So still, no matter what, it's going to be in the same area. There's no way around that. We'll be inside the same area. So this is going to be a decision area over the course of the next 2 weeks, if you will. There's going to be a decision area over the next 2 weeks. And what level is that? That's 1705. So there's going to be a lot going on in that area. So over 2 week span, that's fine. Let's look at monthly. Had a monthly shape up. This is the measurement of the entire move, just as an FYI. Just want to make sure that we're locked on. I'm basically rejecting. I'm just shy of that. I think we went to, where did we top out of here over here? 1881. And now rejecting the 618. My goodness, that's gonna hurt. And that still puts that thesis into play here for the 9 failure. You know, the way that my mind works when I'm trading and when I'm looking at, it's like my thought process is, you know, the higher we go, the deeper we're going to go. And the opposite is true. You know, the deeper we go, ultimately the higher we're going to go in the long run. If we can't get a healthy bullish retest here in the next 2 weeks, and what I mean by healthy is, I mean somewhere around like 1670 down to 1608. That's healthy. If we can get a healthy bullish retest inside of those zones, then I would look at, you know, going forward, we're going up. We're going up. That's how I would view that. But we are rejecting 1893 inside that area. And that's the concerning part, because if you guys recall from previous videos and previous streams, things that I've been talking about from the monthly, is this current level where there's a 9 failure, just right over here. Price has a funny way of revisiting those zones to correct that area. The timing of when that happens, that's always in the air. I can show you on a weekly where we have a 9 failure to the upside, and we haven't corrected that just yet. And I'm not pointing out and saying that we're definitely going to go to that 9 failure and fix it here during this cycle. That's a 50-50 type of scenario. But the fact that we're rejecting inside of that 618 area, I mean, look, when we bounced off of this area, when we revisit this area back in 2025, look how strong that move was, and then look at the opening from that. We're really not seeing that same type of move. Tap, close above, close right where the intent was. Right, so intent is being established right over here in this area. Close right beneath it, a slight little open underneath it, small little dip, and boom, fire away, fire away, fire away. We ultimately needed to see the same type of move on this. In this current candle, while it may be a confirmation month for the month of July, the previous month, June, where we actually tapped into that low and made new lows for the year, it's not really a bullish candle. This candle that we're looking at right now for the month of July, I don't know why that's why. I'm sorry. It's not really bullish yet. I mean, that would need to create a bullish engulfing, which would need to be pretty substantial. Pretty substantial. And all things considered, I don't think we're ready for that yet. Maybe it gives us a spinning top. That's a possibility. And then close somewhere like that. I'm talking about for this month. if this month closes like that, I'd want it to at least close above here, above the intent. So maybe this entire move retraces. And then we pull back into this area right over here. I know that's difficult to see, but that would be a best case scenario. In the meantime, we can utilize, you know, smaller little levels. Hey Google, change lamp to daylight. There we go. Well, let me adjust something. Hang on real quick, guys. A single entity just deployed 852k betting ETH will move big with 10 days by July 24th. I mean, which direction was he betting on? Does he say, or does it say? Did he long? Did he short? Oh, your Google responded. That's funny. My bad, bro. That's funny. I want to try to figure a way how to... I want to play around with this idea a little bit more. Like, you know, this is ultimately kind of what I would be looking for, what I want to see. Oh, let me go back to what I was trying to find earlier. Let me see if I can find one here from an automated perspective. I like the pivot points, but those don't work anymore. How big does this have to be? Maybe that could be the B that I was looking for. Oh man, that's gonna be ugly. But then I'd have to come all the way back over here. What does that look like? That's wider. I'd probably clear this. I probably need to clear this because I think on a weekly, let me look at it on a weekly. I believe I have a shaved. Yeah, I see I have a 9 failure. That sits right there. And what price is that? That's $23.74. So I guess the question would be is how do I get there? I mean, if that were to play out. I don't agree with that. I'm going to use something different here. I'm going to go manual. Okay. 3's over here. All right. Son posible. Can I run a little bit shorter than that? Yeah, see, the problem for that is that I'm going to be inside of here. So that would expand that. That's too wide. That's too wide. So I need to get somewhere over here. Okay. Yeah, you can see a nasty shark from there. Hmm. Damn. Yeah, I could see that. Maybe he's probably aiming for 2100. There's a 2100 move that's there. All right, so that's just speculation. I'm not gonna hang my hat on that. I'm just speculating there. I really want to just drill down. And the point for me personally is I'm trying to identify how I get back into these levels to fill in this imbalance. Is there room to fill in that imbalance? It just went off because I just set the alarm. Don't mind it. So there's my C. 1, 2. Damn, this was just like Clo. That's interesting. Clo does this. Clo moves sideways, like moves down, then moves sideways, very flat, and then has impulses. So a true bearish pattern that I had here. Let me clear some of this stuff. Where'd you go? So I can't keep stretching that because then it loses strength. I can't keep stretching this. Yeah, that doesn't work. That was the tipping point for that. So that doesn't work anymore. And I can't go A and then B and C. That doesn't work. Well, I could actually maybe do this. I did that wrong. Forgive my retardedness. That's not politically correct. My apologies. That won't work either. None of those will work either. I just gotta wait for this to develop. Your best bet, my best bet, is that I can get back into here and then I just start compressing. One thing we haven't looked at, let's look at trend, 4 hour, yeah, massive spike, okay. What do you look like on daily? Still volatile. Topping out with a shakeout. Divergence once. So daily is volatile with bullish dominance that's leading. But the DI positive is above my ADX. So that just screams volatility. Let's go to a 2-day. Loss of strength. Yeah, there is a big move coming. I do see that. There is a big move coming. Let's go to 3-day. Loss of strength. 5-day. Loss of strength. Weekly. Still holding strength and holding momentum. It's the only thing that changes the narrative. And there's time left inside the weekly. How did the 15? Yeah, bro. No. You're not gonna get me with that. Let's look at this 15-minute. Thin liquidity to none. Shave bottom. 2 moves with no liquidity. Two moves with no liquidity. How do you move price without liquidity? Oh, by taking shorts. Okay. I respect that response. Does it make it authentic? Nope. Meaning it didn't move in a natural way. That moved in a natural way. That moved in a natural way. Natural. 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 Well, you can have a ascending broadening wedge. Yeah, that's one way you can look at it, saying. The alarm's gonna go off because I just moved it. Let's look at BTC here for a second so I can kind of get a read on BTC, what's going on with BTC. Yeah, bro, I'm gonna wait for BTC as well too. That's on a 2-week, bro. This is just getting started. Is it the same? Am I getting the same read on a 2-week? Yeah. That's just getting started, man. That's just getting started. Yeah, I'm okay with my shorts. what's hard to identify from my analysis right now is I'm trying to figure out a way that makes sense for me to get to these levels. Is there a shave bottom there too? Thin liquidity 1615.56, low 1614.51. Yeah, so how do I get back over here to create some of that? I can only get a 1, 2, 3. If I can get a motive wave that gets me there, or maybe I get an ABC in there and then I find a sub wave of a 1 through 5 inside of there. I don't have an A yet, so I need an A to give me that. The only way I get there is through an ABC. And what's going to be my new impulse wave? I'll probably bounce again. I need to. I definitely 100% can't sweep that. Then I run into invalidation otra vez again. So if I can get a 3 here, I can get maybe a strong 4 here, and then I can get a 5. I don't know what you are. Where did that come from? Oh, you're up there, aren't you? Yeah, I don't need that right now. So sometimes what I'll do is, because if I'm looking for confluence, I'm looking for how I can get back to these areas, these thinner liquidities. I'll start with like a wave 3, because that's going to be the impulse that takes me. That's going to be that motive that takes me there. So what I'll do is I'll start to measure out where a potential wave 1 can go to, because that's going to give me my wave 3. So coupled with that, we'll probably test this line again. Then let's go into a wave 2. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll be here for a little while. Over 6 days, so I literally will have like 13 days left. Today's the 14th, so I need to be closer to, yep. Yep. Let's move everybody over. Wave 2 is going to be compression, so I like this for compression. Let's kind of move this over a little bit so we get all that. Turn this red. It's an intermediate wave count. Okay. Oh yeah, we can do that too. I forgot about that. Forgot about that. This would have been a 4, so what would that have been? So you just front ran it, that's fine. I'll tweak that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm layering in another wave count here, not just to rely on the diagonal that you see inside of here, like with that compression. I'm forcing myself to look at the impulse wave, but this being the 3, that being the 3, this being the 4, and then 5. I need to fix this because that wasn't correct. There it is. It didn't front run it. It went right to it. It went straight to it. What are you? Okay, what are you? Okay, you belong in here. And then we need to do wave 4. And we need to put this together. Okay, let's just hide this for right now. Okay, and let's try to identify where that 5 would have been at. There's 2 ways we're going to measure that. If you guys recall from our class earlier today, I'll show you what I'm looking at. Okay, so that's where you have room to stretch to. Okay, so I don't know if 5 is done from that perspective. Okay. What if my 5 is done and I'm inside of extension levels? Nah, I'll leave it there. Okay. What's up, Omar? I shorted ETH now, bro. Okay. 1865. Okay. Yeah, I'm mapping right now. I don't know if this bugger's done. I mislabeled that. And what was the... Did I get a 2 in there yet? I don't think I put a 2 in there yet. Or maybe I did. Yeah, there you are. Can we do it like that? Let's do it like that. And let's go 88. Okay. Let me reline that up. I think I had that right. Yeah. Yeah, rejecting this over here. What does a 4 look like? That's possible. But I don't think that's likely. Excuse me. That I can work with. Can't really work with that too much. Yeah, I could. Yeah, it's a funky looking Navarro, but I can make that work. Ah, okay. Unless you want to be it. And then you become that. Same difference, right? I'm splitting hairs at that point. I'll get the same result. But that's very possible. I could see that. I could see it that way. I got a deep crab if I go that way. But I'm going to keep it the way that I had it for right now. Alright, so that's testing 1552. That's making the assumption that it goes there, but let's also look at a traditional wave 5 for this. Did I do that the right way? Yeah, I'm there. What did we go to? 1881. I can't make that stuff up. Why do I have two wave 4s in here? Oh, you don't belong in here. You belong... Oh, shoot. I put all that in the wrong spot. Derp, 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 derp. Yep. That's what I'm going to run with. Alright, you need invalidation saints. You need to put this back on for your invalidation. That means wave 5 just wasn't done. Chris, invite to Discord. Yeah, sure. Hold on. I keep forgetting to update the. That's Discord for you. And my handle is right inside of the stream. You can't miss it, but for whatever reason, if you just don't see it, I don't know. That's X. There you go. Okay, what questions can I answer for any of you guys? You have any questions, confusions? Like, in short, I'm waiting for, I need this to start showing signs of weakness. You know, if we come over to like a 15-minute, because we're trading those sessions, you know, that signs of weakness really needs to derive from the New York sessions, the high and low. You know, if we break above the New York high and then continue up, then we don't have signs of weakness. If we start breaking below that New York session low, then we can confirm that we have weakness. But we're not getting that right now. Somebody was asking about signs of weakness in one of our classes today. This is how I start judging it. That's one way. You could also use the heat maps. You can use T to 9 sequentials. There's a multitude of ways for you to start looking at it. The fastest way for you to look at signs of weakness is going to be price action strategies. So sessions is going to help you because it's going to help you determine where that range is at. So it's going to give you a hard print as far as what levels need to start breaking for signs of weakness or signs of strength. Right? If you get a breakout to the upside, then you have signs of strength. You get a breakdown to the downside, so you have signs of weakness. If you're utilizing T to 9 sequential, you know, where do you have an 8? Where do you have a 9? So forth and so on. Do you have a 13 that's printing on that current session or that time frame? They're showing you that phase is running into a bit of exhaustion. If you're going to use heat maps like what you see right over here, you can utilize heat maps and determine, okay, are we running hot? Are we running cool? Are we like somewhere in the middle? Is there more room to go up? So, I mean, that's a quick, fast, and easy way of reviewing that. Looks like ETH's going to squeeze higher. BTC still has more room to go. Yeah, I mean, BTC can get into this fair value gap right over here. There's room for that. Not disputing that. In a second, guys. If you guys are learning anything from, what I'm drawing out, what I'm going over, do me a favor, smash the like button, leave a comment. If you're still lost and you would like to learn more, or you have questions, please feel free to drop them inside of the comment section. As you guys know, I regularly check on that. All right, so ETH just pushed higher. That's fine. Remember, guys, I have my invalidations, right? This is all speculation as far as where I believe we should be topping out just based on the formations here. I could still be wrong. I accept when I'm wrong in that regard. It doesn't change my bias as far as what I believe is going to occur in the weeks or days or even months to come. I do believe there's going to be a bullish retest. And the volume looks good on a 1 hour though. I mean, on a 4 hour, volume looks good on a 4 hour. Let's see, we just went higher. That hour just started though. You gotta be careful with that. That hour just started. Hold on for a second, guys. I need to take the fib zones off so I can see where these wicks are going to. All right, so we got a sweep on that. That's good. That's decent. Okay, thank you. All right, sorry about that, guys. Doing some stuff here in my house at the same time. All right. I wanted to go and check liquidity for us. So let's go into liquidity real quick and see what that looks like. Thank you. So, sorry about that. When we were looking at this yesterday, we were talking about like 1855s. Yeah, look at that. What else can it go for? 1898. I'll flip back to my chart here in a second. I just want to see that first. Let's go. I didn't go back to that 4 hour. Yeah, and that's 1921. So if they sweep that area. Okay, what's the next current level? 1889, and I think we went to 1883. Okay. 1889, so 71 million there, 104 million. Okay, let's look at longs. 120 million at 1842. So what are you right here? Yeah. Okay. So people long that resistance, the breakout of that resistance. Okay. So 17, what's that? 1765. So what's that? 1765. Geez, half a billy. Okay. And then 1869 again. It's not even on the map because it's already been, they've already taken those. Okay, so then you have 18 people longing. Oh my gosh, people are crazy. Okay. All right, let's go to a 7-day real quick. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just round it up to a bill easily. So there's 1 billion that's there. 60, 120, 200, 360. 500 more. There's way more that's there. Okay. $18.87. And where we go to $18.83 inside that area? Okay. And what's below? $18.52. That's so small. Let's go to a 1 week. It's only on Tuesday. Okay. $18.89. Yeah, look at that. $17.30. That's that same $17.37 area that we were talking about just yesterday. Let's go for a 2 week. Oh gosh, this thing's horrible. I just went back to a 12-hour. It's fine. So 1849, 1887. That's a very small range. I'm hoping it can actually give me a 2 week here. Let's see if it actually loads. Oh, finally, there you go. Okay, so I'm still in that range, so 1712 inside that area. So 1712. Where does that put me on my map? Yeah, that would be a strong wave 3 getting me to that area. What's 1617? Well, that would be the end of that. Yeah, my wave 5 is at 1552.39. And we can see there's a little pocket that sits here. Let's pull away from ETH for a little bit. Let's go through the scanner. It's one thing we haven't done. It's gone through the scanner just yet. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to the charts here a second. Give me 1 second, please. 1 second. There you go. I want to see what's going on with scanners. I'm gonna pull up the scanner on my side. So we kind of know, we identify where some of that liquidity is at. Went in at 1880. Okay. Yeah, let's see if we hold. Let's go to BTC on a 1 hour. Okay, why did my chart just do that? Frustration, frustration, frustration. I don't know why my chart's doing that, but that's aggravating. Bro, you're ranging hard, man. You've been in this range for a minute. Broke range once. No, you've been in this range. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that long. I wouldn't be that dramatic about it, but it's been in range for a little bit. We got 2 breaker structures. This on 1 hour. I'm not gonna go there. Yeah, we still have that for BTC. Short term. Price had liquidity that sits right there. So I should expand this box. This is so freaking big. I don't like how large that is. I mean, that would make more sense. But right there, that's really where we've been rejecting. And that's the resistance that it's trying to break out of. So if I'm range bound based on that, there's no 1, 2 on that. There's not even a 2. A B C, no. A B C with an invalidation for 1. We have a 9 failure on the 4 hour. There's no clean count on a 4 hour. Like I can't even go 1, 2 because I've already violated this area. So I have no impulse off of that. You can go ABC from there. But then that needs to put this like that. So I can actually get a wave 1 out of this. I don't know why, bro. It keeps doing that. It's the most frustrating thing. Now I lost where those drawings were at. Okay. So it just completely disappeared on me. You're not it. I'll just redo it. I don't know why my chart just did that, but I'll redo it. It's aggravating. Trading views are acting wonky. Damn, you know what? I actually had the right the first time. Wick to body. I'm gonna fake out right here. Oh boy. I think somebody in our chat at some point was talking about a symmetrical. And you're just breaking out of it now. How vicious would it be? Give you a false move here and then give you a false move here. Talk about brain rot. I need to be able to see that better. Yeah, that works for me. Too large. Still use it though. That's honestly more appropriate. That's my intense level. Yeah, that's more. That looks like a barrier triangle. Yeah, that looks like a barrier triangle, but there's no 4. That's the issue, because there's no 1. I mean, there's no. Oh shoot. I think I just found it. Okay. 1, 2. Wide. Too wide. Just straight up barrier inside. Nope. Yeah. Frustrating part about trading this crap. Hang on, I need to research on something on my side. But that was where it's created inside of a bear market, so. And that actually helps me with ETH for expanding and then contracting. We need to come down again. That could change that. That could change that. Okay. This has to be lower. So maybe we get in here. That points to the upside. That points towards that way. I need to take some of this crap off. It's gonna go for another sweep, like 1893. This I think it's gonna head for. Yeah. Why is that liquidity inside that zone? So looking for multiple sweeps. Yeah, see a sweep just activated right there. Now the only way that's going to become valid is if it starts closing underneath this original sweep. So we just have a sweep of that area. That's all it's doing. Okay. So I'm set up a barrier here. So I float down to this level and then I get my push up. You're still my highest point, right? Yeah. Yep. And that's just not done. That's all that is. That's the best way to look at it. Multiple sweeps. That's good. I'll make the adjustments on the counts that we had for this. I'll do that here in a second. I wouldn't long that. 3 sweeps. I like the 3 sweeps. These are like for me that's like execution. That's what I started executing on. My initial entry was on a sweep, or at least add back. Now if I'm gonna, all right, BTC, you're inside of that range. Sheesh. 1893 BTC is about to hit 65. Come on, give me 1893. Come on. Give us 1893. That won't work. I need this to make lower highs. That won't work. All I have is this this barrier. That's really all I have. If we want to go this way and say it's an expanding barrier, we can look at it that way too. But that won't work. I'm hoping this was a 5. ETH finally gonna perform. Damn. If that's the range, bro, this is gonna feel like absolute brain rot for like the next. This is gonna go longer than July if that's the case. That's gonna put us into probably like mid-August. Wait, can you imagine if this is the range? Bro, that's gonna make people want to quit. I promise you. This thing needs a surge if yeah. It needs to give the people what they want. Bro, everything is in a freaking range. Everything. Ugh. Mm-mm. Everything's in a range here, bro. Damn, that's possible. Yeah, that's very possible. Oh, let's look at that. Let's examine that. So if I'm ranging, I don't have a breakout, then I need to have a retest. That's what the range is going to be signaling. I need to have a retest. Bro, what if all this... yeah, well, I'll go minor. I'll just call it minor for now. But what if all of this... You get the idea. I'm just running out of screen real estate to do that. That's a pretty big one, so this 3 is going to be gargantuic. Bet money this thing just comes here. And it goes there. Let's measure that real quick. Let's see what that looks like. Was a good sweep. 3 sweeps. Not easy, boys. Not easy. I like that a little bit more. How do I get there? Yeah, I like this a little bit more. That's in a perfect world if it bounces off of there, but I think that might be too obvious. And we actually come back and test like a real resistance area, so maybe around here. What does a 4 look like? Oh my goodness. At some point I'm gonna get this right. One more time. 3rd time's a charm. Yep. Yep. Would be happy to see that because that would be bullish. I mean, any one of these are going to be bullish, but let's go here because we're fighting this range, so trying to put it back inside of a range. Now let's look for an extension of that. Actually, let's go with the traditional first. I don't need it to be that impulsive. Yeah. This is on a 1 hour though. They're still buying here in those areas. ETH 2K3 tomorrow, yeah. Yeah, I think I had it on a, I think it was the 2 week to change the setup phase 1, 2, 3, 4. It tests 2098. So 2100 is what it would test if we're looking at a 2-week. That's the only issue, is that you still have bearish strength and bearish dominance. They just flatten out their strength. Bullish dominance started to pick up a little bit, but they don't have the strength that's behind that. But I get it. I get what you're saying. More sweeps. Come on. I get a 5 out of that. Yeah, look at that. And that puts us right into the BSLs. Oh, that would adjust. That would adjust. Where's that 3 I had? Oh, no. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Well, no, that wouldn't need to adjust. Okay, let's try that for a 3rd time. Nope. Break this range, come right into it with a throwdown. Would not be shocked. What does that put us at? 66.8. You know, I think I had a 2-week plan for this. I have it on a different chart. I think I have it over here. Yeah, the thing is that I think we had a fair value gap that's set. What is 67? Fair value gap on? Where are you? Where are you? I can't find you. Where are you? Oh, so you're not going to show here, but you'll show on index. That's stupid. That's fine. At least I know where it's at. It's at 67. Oh. Yeah, I think that's where the big swing short's going to come from. 66.8 through 67. We've got a shaved head that sits right here too, man. Look at that. BTC's hungry, boy. You just need to see a breakdown here if you're bearish. So all this would be sweep. I think if I throw an SMD, it's going to show me sweep. Yeah, there it is. So if you're bearish, you need to close underneath this red line right here. And if that is the case, then I'll just adjust everything back down, you know, to this. And this was my 5, and then I'll adjust all my fibs. I'm leaving it right there for right now because there's still potential that we can go there. If we start breaking down from here, then what I'll be doing is I'll start looking at saying, okay, well, any type of move that we have to the upside, little impulse, you know, constituting this as a wave 1. Wave 1 is done because I got the sweep. Then any little pump that we see, then those are opportunities to short, and then the heavier longs would come from here. Yeah, because that puts us right inside of that fair value gap. I think I went a little bit too deep on that. Yeah, that puts us right inside that fair value gap right here. But I also did that. So if I adjust that, it puts me right at the bottom of that. So that says that I would fill that entire fair value gap. All right, so let's clean this up a little bit. Actually, I'll go to a 15-minute because I can just drive it from there. I'm gonna take the volume. Yeah, look at that. One higher. Volume is diminishing. So we created a weekly area high. Make some adjustments. Oh man. I can't see. More reason to get to an 88. The upper band? Are you talking about Bollinger Bands, or are you talking about the upper range area? The question was, if the upper band keeps rejecting, we can compress back down to 1778. I just want to clarify if you're referring to like a range or if you're referring to like Bollinger Bands. Like when I hear bands, I think Bollinger Bands. I don't really use Bollinger Bands. I mean, I know how to use them. It's just, I don't find a lot of reliability on them. Yo, where's my... oh, there it is. And that's how we make mistakes, by not adjusting our fibs. Sorry about that, guys. Mike literally just died on me. You guys can hear me now, right? Yes, yes, yes. All right, sorry about that, guys. So I've been muted for a while. What was the last part that you guys heard? I'll go back into it. You guys let me know. I'll go back into it. I'm gonna get some coffee while you guys let me know. I'll re-explain that. $100 giveaways to all those on stream. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll do a giveaway soon. I appreciate you guys. Time to reward those that are here and active. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know. People only join when you're giving them stuff. Mind you, we're doing free content like for 4 hours a day. Education, things like that, but that's okay. That's okay. So, what I was trying to drive home was I was just referring back to the sequential count on the 2 week, and the sequential count on the monthly. We are still inside of a bullish setup regime. What does that mean? Bullish setup phase points towards lower lows. Every bear market has had a low, a small push up, and a retest. So, with the sequential count in mind and the push-ups and retests, let's just look at past data. Right, that's essentially the definition of technical analysis. It's reading past data. So in order to do that, we have to look left. What you see on your chart here are all three bear markets, major bear markets that we have been in. Okay, they're all labeled there for you, so I'm sure everybody here is educated and can read. 2018, bear market low, a push up, a retest. It occurred. 21 through 22, bear market low, push up, retest. It occurred. We've already discussed the 9 failure. I'm not going to beat a dead horse on that. 2026, 2025 through 2026, bear market. 1503 low? Okay. Very possible. Push up? Does the push up go a little bit higher? Very possible. It does not take away from the fact that we must have a retest to confirm this was our low. 2021, this was our low. We needed to confirm this was our low. We came back to right where the intense level was at. Just a hair right above it. We came right back to that intense level. What did we do in 2018? Same thing. Low. Son of a gun. Here's our low. And what did we do? We came back and retested the intense level. So if this is going to be our intense level, let's just play devil's advocate here. In 2026, 1555 inside that area, the question becomes, at what point do we retest that? Is that inside of July? Is that going to be inside of August? Is that inside of September? Right, that's only to confirm that the bear market low ended inside of June. Look, this retest took from November until March of the following year. Took 5 months to wait for that retest to develop to give us a true confirmation. 2022, in June, we bottomed, and we didn't retest it until November. 4 months. So there's a span of time. It may not come that quick. The faster it comes, the happier we're going to be at the end of the day, yes. But going back into it, when I was discussing and saying that we're still inside of a bullish setup regime, inside of here, waiting for confirmations. Okay, we float down to a slightly lower time frame. That was the wrong chart to do. This is what I needed to do. Then we start looking at the sequential count on the 2 week. Okay, Saint, where do I need to go for us to move up? And then maybe we move down. Maybe we see something very similar to what we saw over here. We push up, we push up, maybe we push up. Where can that possibly go? Well, from a 2 week perspective, it's a great question. This would be the level. 2098. It would try to stretch into that zone to try to flip that level. But that might be your push where you move to the upside and then come right back down to these areas. That's your bullish relief point of view and bearish retest levels. When we're inside of this area that we're finding ourselves in right now, we're still inside of this very large structure of this candle right over here, which if you really want to paint a picture, this could be a falling 3. One, it says that my magnets are not on, but 1, staying inside here. Okay, that doesn't work. Let's try that again. Let's take the magnet off. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3. What does that move look like? If I can actually find what I'm looking for, that'd be great. Measure from here to here. Paint that black. A falling 3 is, as long as it stays within this candle. If it breaches outside of here, then it's no longer valid. So that gives us all this room over here, 2048, 2098, inside that area. But we could very well be seeing a falling 3 pattern that's developing here. Falling 3 pattern is a continuation pattern. It is a continuation pattern. It's not a reversal, it's just a continuation. So longing from right over here inside of this area because you're anticipating getting into this level, that's dangerous. And equally true is even shorting from this level, which I am short. So full disclaimer, I am short. It's still dangerous. It's still risky because there's room that we can come to this level. Then the true short will come into this area, into this zone. But I'll digress. When we were talking about the monthly, still inside of a bullish setup phase regime, same thing with the 2 week. What I was illustrating before my mic went dead is, you know, in order for us to flip this level, as I've said, we have to flip 2098. Well, what if we don't get there? What if we don't get there? And then the next 2 week session, because that would have to occur here in the next 5 days. In order for us to go to those levels, that would have to occur in the next 5 days. Right, what if we just hang around here inside of this area over the next 5 days? Well, the next 2 week session, which kind of lines up with the monthly, because there's only 17 days left inside of the monthly. And there's only 5 days that are left inside of here. So the next 2 week session is ultimately going to bleed us into the month of August. So going into the next 2 week session, what level do I need to flip to change the setup phase? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. This level right over here. Think about it for a second. What is easier to maintain? Getting a massive stretch to here and then holding it for the next 2 weeks going into August and then expecting a pump up, or hanging around this area, maybe getting to the zone, seeing a little bit of flush downs to this area for a true bullish retest, and then we can move up. We lose these levels, we lose this, then we know that we had a bearish continuation pattern, and it's that falling 3 that I was just illustrating for you guys a moment ago. Let's just say it's here. Let's say the next 2 week opens and maybe goes to something like that. There you go. That could happen in July, and that could happen going into the first month of August. First week of August, excuse me. First month of August. First week of August. Over the next 2 week cycle. So what I'm trying to illustrate here and point out is, like, you got to look at both sides of it and go, where are the probabilities most likely to go? In my opinion, I feel like it's if I'm going to be bullish and July is going to be that month, right? We hold this area. I don't want to see a falling 3 pattern pan out. But I'm not oblivious. I want to see that these zones, these areas inside of here maintain. I think I did this just the other day. I'll do it again here, just for good measure. Let's take this off. I don't know what I just did. Actually, I don't need it. It's already on my chart. There it is. This wick right here. I'm measuring from the body to the wick. Ideally, I'd like to see price fill in a portion of that wick. Why is that? Well, again, when we came down to our bear market low, we had that small little pump. What did this entire move do? It filled in basically 90% of this move. So there was an imbalance that the market saw and recognized, and over the span of 4 months, it took time to fill in that imbalance, then moved up. While it moved up with very thin liquidity, that's a completely different conversation. Same thing in 2018. Nice little move up, and what did it immediately do? It filled in this little imbalance right there. So while the 2 week can do something very similar to that, keep doing that. That's the wrong move. See? Let's try that one more time. There you go. There you go, buddy. Right now, we're filling some of this void inside here. But look what we're creating. We're getting another pocket. So if I'm bullish, I want to see that getting filled, because that creates a healthy environment that opens up the door for people to actually enter more safely. Enter in more safely. And even entering over here inside of this area, we still run the risk of it just completely wiping out those positions and just tanking to like 1300s, 1400s. So it's risky when you're in that perspective, right? When you look at the monthly and say, okay, what was a safe entry for me? What would have been a safe entry? It's a little bit dangerous here. Okay, I can see that I'm holding this area. I have some indecision that's occurring here inside of this level. I'm going to take this. No, I needed something a little bit more. I need a little bit more confidence. Okay, cool. So look, you had a resistance level right over here to the top. You retested that resistance. It acted as support. Boom. Gone. Maybe you don't want to catch the very bottom. Maybe you need more of a confirmation and you're just waiting a little bit longer before you get in it. Dude, you made good money. You made good money. So there's different ways of approaching that and different strategies that you can apply to where you feel safer. Me, I personally target liquidity levels, things of that nature. You know, where you start to see these liquidity sweeps, that's really what I start targeting. That's my style. That's my strategy. And then I just build upon that. All right, so that was like the short and sweet version of the 5-minute intermission session for the mic going out. So if that made sense to you guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, put a W inside of the chat. If you're still lost on what I just explained, or it's maybe a little confusing, then drop your questions inside of the chat. I'm happy to explain a little bit more in detail for you on that one. Let's look at BTC. What is BTC doing? Oh, BTC is still going up. BTC's not losing those levels yet. Yeah, we really need to see BTC come underneath that. What is USDT doing? USDT's like, I'm just gonna take a little nap here. Ugh, that looks like it wants to go down for a power move. We gotta be careful with that. My best bet for me, well, what I'm trading right now is I'm trading the New York sessions. It's such a thin area. If it decides to go up, it goes up. It is what it is. You know, then I start looking at the higher fib levels that I'm looking at. I'd want to see this right over here and then seeing if there's a rejection. I would probably most likely look into longing this inside the zone. I really would, or at least adding back to my levels. And then, you know, if I'm invalidated and this count doesn't work, then that's okay. I'm positioned. But longing from here, from this level, or, you know, saying you trade sessions, if, you know, you break out to the upside and there's a retest, then that's something that you typically long. Yes, I do. But look where the trend is right now. At some point, this runs into exhaustion. So the risk reward from a long perspective, it just doesn't cut it for me. Not on a 1 hour, not on an execution. It doesn't cut it for me. I was going to look at the scanner and I think I squirreled. Look at some other coins real quick. Let's see what actually came up on the scanner. See if it's actually even worth it. There's a coin called Cat. Did I even look at that one yesterday? I don't want to open up a new chart. And let's just do it from here. Fudge. Damn, that thing surged. I can't do anything with that. We got a bunch of shaved bottoms over here. Yeah, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that. ETH feels like it's so delayed right now. We're just stuck inside of this. I think we're going to be stuck in that for a little while. We have a new trading competition for Blofin. I just got the campaign information. I'm going to drop it inside the server for you guys. But there's a $10,000 prize pool for it. This is specific for our community. First place will get 50% of the prize pool. Second place, 30%. Third place, 20%. It's for 14 days. I'll post it inside of the server now for you guys. And it's for Blofin. This is actually really good. Actually really good. That should be fun. I'm gonna enter into that as well too myself. I'll compete with you guys, but I'll also be helping you, so don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna gatekeep information so that way you guys can't win. So I just posted inside of the Blofin section. You can see it. And you guys might beat me if you're utilizing the scanner and seeing all those additional setups, because those things move so fast and aggressively. Like your P&L can grow substantially, obviously, if you have good risk management. But like coins like Clo, there's a litany of them over here. As a matter of fact, let's go and look at Clo. What are you doing, buddy? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on down. Come on down. What is Beat doing? Nope, can't touch that. Prom. Still waiting for prom. Still waiting for soul. Bet. Bet was good. Bet actually came right back to entry. I did not. Son of a gun, I keep doing that. I did not re-enter on FET. Just as an FYI. But it came right back to entry levels. That might be something worth exploring. River. Maybe not even close to my levels yet. Nope. I don't want you. Not yet. Bro, literally a perfect flag. Look at that. Perfect pennant. And what did it do? Retested the bottom of that pennant. Yeah, because that's the measured move. So, me no toca until it reaches a measured move. I'm just going to stick to that. I've said it before, it doesn't have to go to the full measured move, but that's how I'm going to treat this one. I'm just going to wait. I'll just wait on that. What else did we have? Oh, STG was going off a couple times. Ah, because you were reaching entry levels. Look at you, Pikachu. Mmm. Hey, look that. I might look into taking that. Yeah. No. No. Nope. That'll change my mind real quick. You took liquidity. Alright, so where do you want to go? Fudge. Oh, time to set some alarms. Yep. 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 I'm done. Just this. I already traded STG once and then I got out. I'd leave that relatively tight. And I'm going to come down to... I'll start building from here. I'll start building from the sell side liquidity pool. So I'm going to remove this for supply. I mean, we're technically still in it, so maybe I'll just leave it for right now. All right, let's go to Orca. Orca, look at you. Orca, Orca. ACH. Still waiting on that one. I have some setups on that. Still waiting for that. Yeah, my B is there. So I went to my B. I'm really waiting for this. Do I have an alarm? Yeah, I have an alarm set right over here. That might be a little bit too low. I think I need to get somewhere right over here. Yeah. So just waiting for BCH. I think that puts me somewhere right around like 194. Yeah. So just waiting for BCH. Virtual? I forgot about this one. I don't even remember. Velvet. Oh gosh. Velvet's so interesting, bro. Bro, Velvet has all this space in here to clean up. Short panned out. Short worked. Wild. Still waiting for wild. Still waiting for wild. Grass. You know, I didn't short grass the way I wanted to and what I intended to. I had a play over here. I didn't get those levels. My alarms never went off for grass. But probably going to come back down to my levels over here. So I'm going to set an alarm. Yeah, I actually already have an alarm set. I have an alarm set on the 88. So nothing yet on there. Oh boy, Sui. I think I was mapping this with Kimberly the other day. Yeah, I can't do anything with that. I mean, I do have like this scallop move that's developing here, but I would still wait for this. I'll set an alarm for it. Okay, what? Nope, nope, nope. Let's try that again, Saint. Yep. Zama. You know, short's working out. Still waiting for that. Yep, just waiting for this. I don't think we have an alarm, so we're gonna set an alarm. Arm. Can't do anything with that right now. Core, this was on my trigger. Ah, you did go to it, didn't you? Ah, you came down a little bit lower. Damn, I might have missed entry on that one. Oh, can you get me back to this intent level? Get me back to intent, and then I will consider. I would definitely consider. Yeah, I'll definitely consider that. If I miss it, I miss it. LDO. That was a long call. I just missed that one. Nothing I can really do with that. I mean, outside of that being looking like a freaking cup and handle. That's weird, where it's placed, but I mean, we're talking about. Yeah. There could be a good long in there. There could be a good long in there. Yep. Yeah, I missed it. If you caught it, if you're in it. That's what I would be looking for. Not even to short it, just I'd be, if I'm long in that position, that's where I'm looking for TPs. What else we have? Nope, not touching. And this was another one. I think yeah, still waiting for this. Not touching it until I get to this level. As a matter of fact, I don't even have an alarm set for that, so I need to set an alarm on that. I'm glad I checked that. Yep. See, when you go through all your coins and you already have some pre-designed maps for them, it makes it a lot easier just to flip through them and go, am I there yet? Am I at those levels? If I am, great. If I'm not, then nope. Not touching. Excuse me. You guys check your Bitunix accounts. They just pushed out the $100 futures bonus for the update. If you guys remember from yesterday what I was sharing with you guys. So check your Bitunix account. There's a $100 futures bonus. It doesn't matter how much you have in your account. Sometimes the Bitunix futures bonus, you have to have so much in your account, things of that nature. It's not one of those. They're just giving out the $100 USDT that's in there. So, free money, y'all. Yo, Sniper, does that constitute as a giveaway? Everybody has a $100 bonus. And if you're not, if you're not trading on Bitunix and you don't want to feel like you're missing out, the referral links are inside of the server. They're also inside the description of this. Bitunix and Blofin, that's where we're at. I just activated mine, so I know it's there. Now, can I get a trade off of that? Wait, 1875? Oh, now we're looking for signs of weakness. We're on a 1 hour, of course. Let's go to the 15-minute. Meh, small. Nothing to write home to mom about. Yeah, man. Seeing some sweeps inside this area would be ideal. Yeah, very similar to what we saw over here. Really want to see start developing in here. Maybe even in here. That's if they hold on to it. What level is that? 1779. All right, so question. Are you short or are you long? Boy is short. 1880. Yeah, I remember. Long from below, 95 started out with the runners. Stopped out on short earlier and currently in short from. That's what's up. That's what's up. So magic number, guys, as of right now, you know, going into, I'm on a 15 minutes, so let's just go over to a 1 hour. Can we go to a 4 hour? Yeah, let's go to a 4 hour. All right, remember we're stuck inside of this pattern right over here. It's contracting, right? But we're contracting to the upside. So this becomes our magic level right over here. That becomes our magic level. If we see a massive drop from here, boink, that looks inappropriate. So let me just take that off, but you get the idea. if we see a massive drop to the downside, that means everybody and their mom was longing this area, anticipating higher, and we just tanked. So that just becomes our magic level. If we don't sink through this, and we actually do maintain and hold this because we're in this upwards compression like this, the long will make sense, and then this becomes your next level. You know what? I'll even throw on a 98 on there just so it doesn't surpass this, but we can get an idea as far as what it looks like. Right? We would need to maintain all of that. And the opposite is true, just like we were talking about here. If you see a major yoink down to the downside, it's because money man, institutional money, algos, whatever you want to call them, they recognize that and they just took that for liquidity. Individuals became liquidity. So very similar to what we're doing now, looking for signs of weakness, things of that nature. You'd want to look for the same thing here. And vice versa. Everyone that's going to view that 98 as a of a gun as a potential double top, and then you see a bunch of shorts start entering into the market right over here, and then you see a yoink to the upside. Money man just took all those shorts and squeezed them into an oblivion. I didn't mean to do that, but I'll fix that. And I sounded very melodramatic when I said squeeze into oblivion. That's probably the wrong way of putting it. It's that level that I'd be looking at in this level. Because remember, we still have a falling 3 that could occur here. So this is relatively 19 days, so you could see a push into this area. Right into that zone. What was that? 2035? What was that? 2035? And then we still get our falling 3, then doo-doo. Hmm. Where's this demand area? All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm in the server at the same time, just chatting it up. So, my bad. My bad. Let me give you a chart that actually just shows candles moving so we can get excited. Where's my boy Scissors? I know he's going to draw something very inappropriate. So 3 minute just broke New York session low. It's done it once before. Let's see if it actually maintains and holds that. If it does, we are Gucci. If it doesn't, then we're coming right back. My two guys, scissors and sniper. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yo, I just got the biggest Charlie horse in my shoulder. Holy cow. Yo, give me a second. What is that? Bro, don't get old. Oh my gosh. Don't get old. Yo. Ah. Holy cow. Yo, I've never experienced a Charlie horse in my shoulder. Good golly, Miss Molly. Oh man. Don't get old, guys. Oh, yeah, boys in there too. Boy, you know what we're talking about. Oh man. Oh man. Love you guys, man. Love you guys. Alright, so we got some decent signs of weakness, but oh, we got some shape heads here. Yeah, I got a shaped head here. Exactly what I said. We're gonna be in this little ridiculous little range here for a little while. Remember last week? Bro, how long were we sitting in shorts for? For like 4 days, and then we finally got a drop. High blood flow. Oh, maybe I'll go and do some tests. Yeah, I'll go do some tests. They have the whole month for you. Yeah, I know, bro. I know. Yeah, that was weak for USDT. That was weak. I just want to punt a massive move here. We already mapped that out, but what if we... Can I find one that way? No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing because you're gonna run into the same issue. A, B, C. You're gonna run into the same issue. One, no. Oh. I can't get one there. I really would want to see one there. Nope, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. None of that works. That's just doo-doo. Yeah, I'm gonna come back over there. That's the only way I can create that. I think that's going to be a snorm. I think that's going to be a snorm. It's a weird pattern, I know. Yeah, so... Can I go the other way? No, I can't. I can't go this way. Nah. Yeah, maybe if that happens. That's the only way I see that working. Which is like textbook basic. I got a total pattern out of that. But let's just work with what we have. You know what I mean? Like let's focus on what we have. We know what the game plan is. We know where there's invalidation for the counts on this current move. We've discussed, macro views, things of that nature. So we have a lot of perspectives. Oh my gosh. Hmm. I got you, scissors. If ETH by any miracle goes to 800, I might consider actually selling the kidney. I think we'll get a pull for that, bro. Bro, Sniper, you're still holding on to that 4,700 short, huh? Absolute beast mode, bro. It needs to give birth already. 9 months? It's due, bro. It's due. Time to induce labor on that thing. All right, so the sweeps look good. I still don't like the 4 hour though, guys. I don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Why don't I like it? I don't like it for this reason right over here. And right over here. I don't like it. But I would love to shake the hand of the individual that's actually shorting this right now. I mean, longing, excuse me, that's longing this. We got a shaved bottom right there. Do we? Ah, pretty darn close. Let's just do this. Oh, did you get filled? Oh, you got filled. Oh, hello. Oh. Well, you did get filled. What was I looking? Was it you? No. There's one that hasn't been filled. That's 15 minute. Let's go to 1 hour. Oh, that's been filled. Oh, that's been filled. Yep, that's been filled. I can see right there. See? We filled it right there on this wick. So when you're looking for shaved bottoms, just as a heads up, like this is what you're looking for. Yeah, right? Manipulation. Market moved without collecting any liquidity or creating any liquidity. It becomes a magnet. It revisits. Boom. This wick right over here created the liquidity that it needed. Oh, you're breaking out of my channel. You're breaking out. You're breaking out. What happens if I move you? We still keep you within that area. So that's where it should have topped. And all of this just became... I don't even have to go that far. All of this became a false breakout. False breakout. False breakout. Because at the time, this trend line was derived from here or here. You can see the bump. Bump, 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 bump. False breakout, false breakout, false breakout. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, bump, bump. Bump, bump. And now we're sitting in that same area. This is a bump and run reversal pattern, just as an FYI. It can create multiple pans. Right, and so the pan, you start bumping. Let's try that again. So bumping, 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 bumping. It can create multiples. So bump, bump. Bump, bump. Do we get another one? Right? That becomes a question. And there's so many different ways to measure that. But being that we've blew past this area, I can't use this as a measured move. So my last pan really becomes this move. And I have multiple pans in there. Oh shoot, Adam and Adam? Adam and Adam? No, you're still an Eve. Oh, you're an Eve. Yeah, you're an Eve. Here you go. Yep. Doesn't mean that we still won't get a retest, but you gotta maintain that. That's a little bit too sharp, you know what I mean? So let's open that up a little bit. Open that up a little bit. If PA does that, then you have an Adam and Eve. Here's your Adam. And then all of this would be your Eve. That happens in combination with this move down, the bump and run reversal. So now you have a bump and run reversal pattern, then you have an Adam and Eve pattern. This is derived from a daily perspective. Yeah. Shorts will be roasted. This thing's gonna fly, pelican, fly. It's gotta take some time, man. Gotta wait for that to all develop. Right now we're just stuck inside of this New York session. If you want to go into candle analysis, I mean, you got a shooting star. I printed right here. So that's the trend. You got a shooting star, and then you got an engulfing that follow right after it. Or shortly after it, excuse me. Well, that's something to be encouraging if you're short. The shooting star is kind of like the first trigger. The engulfing is what really gives it a little bit more weight. Look, and see, this is kind of a good example as far as what a falling 3 would look like. We can use this actually right here. Right? So you can see 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to take this candle. Look at that. Went to the full measure move. That's a bearish continuation pattern. But if you guys recall what I was sharing with you on the 2-week, right? Just going back to it, wrong one. That's kind of what I was looking at here. I was like, there could be a chance that we see a falling 3 inside of here. You know, and this retrace a good chunk of this candle. We're looking at a 15-minute. We're just going to measure that candle. I don't know. I'd just go with a 50 for right now. What did it go to? Like a 618? I have that upside down. Let's try that again. Let's take the 50 off. Where did you go to? Basically a 618. Went to a 618 and then came down. Okay, so let's try to apply that same logic to this candle. Let's put our magnets back on. I want to try to get some accuracy in that one. Okay. Just turn this all black. And let's go 618. And we have it upside down again. See? Let's try that again. 1898. Let's move that over. I mean, pretty darn close, guys. What do we go to on this move? You don't want to show me my height. 1887. So inside of a golden pocket, if you will. This is all your golden pocket. You know, maybe the next 2-week session kind of opens up and takes us right to this level, and then we come down. But let's just see where that measured move would look like. What is this? Oh, I think I've measured that like 5 times already. Bro, if you show this to Emma right now, that he's gonna go absolutely giddy. He's gonna be like, yes, that's the move. I wouldn't be mad at him. I don't say that to insult anybody, but that's how you get there. That's how you get to that level. That's a neat thing about candle analysis, right? At least for crypto, because crypto moves so quickly that you can see an example of it on a lower time frame, see how that pans out, and then adopt and apply that towards the higher time frames and see if you can get to the same conjecture. I will be frank, I personally don't want to see that. I really want to see a bullish retest kind of hold inside the areas that we've mapped out. That's going to be the ideal area. But boy, oh boy, if we see a sweep, 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 sweep. Yep. All right. Price action comes down to this level. You get a wick, and then you start getting a close right above this. So all this move, all that would be your sweep. Now let's go with the body scene. I don't know if that would happen, but you get the idea as far as what I'm looking at. Trying to see where there would be some type of support in there. Creating those confirmations are very, very difficult, man. Very difficult. Alrighty. I love the fast charge. All good, Sniper. I'm actually wrapping up myself here with you guys. You know, it's been a pleasure, always a pleasure. Good times, some decent analysis in my opinion. We've gone over several of them. I'm going to run back through some of the setups that I have, and I'll post them inside of the playback for us. I'll drop BTC in there. I'll drop definitely ETH, as you guys know, and some of the additional alts that I'm looking at, I'll just kind of litter them inside of there. If anything pops up, you know, on the scanner, or if anything pops up here for ETH, things that we should be concerned about, things that we're looking at, one, you'll be prepared for it because I've given you guys multiple different levels to consider, whether it be long and or being short. We've discussed many different levels for invalidation, whether that be from a macro perspective or from an intraday perspective down to lower time frames. I'm hoping this stream actually served as a benefit to you guys. You guys actually learned something today. If you're still lost for whatever reason, always feel free to reach out to me inside of our server. You can DM me directly, or if you want to chat it up inside of our war room, feel free. There's plenty of traders in there that can spread a little bit of their knowledge with you guys to assist you through it. Outside of that, please be safe while you're trading these levels, especially this New York range that we're seeing right now. Continue to be profitable. You know, every day is going to provide you an opportunity to get into the market. You don't need to hold on to positions and, you know, pray and hope that it actually goes to those numbers and turning $100 into $1 million. Just be patient with it. Remember, we do have a new campaign that's inside of our server. That's for Blofin. Guys, check it out because it's a free opportunity to make free capital just based on your everyday trades that are out there. So it's just something for you guys to consider. Other than that, thank you guys again so much for vibing with me. If no one's told you today, Jesus loves you. I love you. And I'll catch you guys.